Unspeakable betrayal at funeral. My mother-in-law's explosive revelation. It felt like a nightmare unfolding in slow motion. I gripped the voice recorder, my knuckles white. At his mom's funeral, my husband, that man, had the audacity to claim he spent 5 years caring for her with all his heart. The lie was so thick, so blatant, it tasted like ash in my mouth. In that moment, a cold fury solidified within me. I couldn't let his deception stand. Listen to this, I hissed, my voice trembling with suppressed rage. Should I unleash the fury I held within? Could I play the recording? I cared for her for 5 years. He wailed, a grotesque parody of grief. The audacity of that statement. A wave of nausea washed over me as I watched tears well up in his eyes. He'd done nothing for her, ever. And yet, he played the grieving, dutiful son with such practices. The hypocrisy of it all made me want to scream. I was the only one who knew the truth. The years of sacrifice, of his neglect. You better realize this. I wanted to scream, to shake him until his teeth rattled. In that tense, suffocating atmosphere, I pressed play, unleashing audio evidence that would dismantle his carefully constructed facade and expose his monstrous true nature for everyone to see. My name is Sarah, and for 7 years, I've been married to John. Until recently, we existed as a family of 3, sharing our home with my now deceased mother-in-law, Linda. A relentless illness had trapped her in a bedroom existence, stripping her of her independence. My father-in-law had passed long before John and I even met, leaving her utterly alone. We were struggling financially at the time, barely scraping by. So when John suggested we move in with his mother, it felt like our only option. Linda agreed, and a heavy weight of guilt settled upon me. How could I not? I resolved to care for her as repayment, juggling a draining part-time job with her needs. My mother-in-law, bless her soul, carried the weight of her dependence on us like a crown of thorns. Sarah, she'd say, her voice laced with worry, that's enough. Please don't concern yourself over me. I always met her concerns head on, my voice brimming with reassurance, please don't worry about me. I would always strive to encourage her. I remember vividly one such conversation, her face etched with a weariness that threatened to break my heart. What are you talking about, Linda? I responded. I'm indebted to you, mother-in-law, but it must be hard with both work and housework, plus taking care of me. I don't want to burden you anymore. Sarah, she'd insisted, her frail hand reaching for mine. It's not a burden at all, I countered, squeezing her hand. I want to be with you. That's why I'm doing this on my own accord, I reassured her. But you should have your own happiness, she would reply. Being able to talk to you every day like this is my happiness. So, don't worry about it. Tears would well in her tired eyes as she whispered the small, grateful thank you. There's not much that I can do. Ever since we got married, my mother-in-law has been exceptionally kind to me. So taking care of her never felt like a burden at all. It felt like a calling, my personal mission. But despite finding joy in caring for her, a profound dissatisfaction festered within my life. And that dissatisfaction was named John, my husband. He wasn't always this way. He was better when we got married. But since we started living with his mother, he'd morphed into a selfish, demanding shell of the man I thought I knew. He contributed next to nothing to the household, and his expectations were unrealistic. For instance, the instant he came home, a storm of yelling erupted if I didn't greet him at the door. Hey, Sarah, I'm home, he would bellow, his voice drooping with entitlement. Why aren't you greeting me? Hurry and get my stuff. My resentment simmering, I would confront him, trying to reason with the unreasonable. Listen, John, I'd say, my voice tight with control. I've told you before, I am not your servant. Do what you can on your own. He would scowl, puffing up with anger. What are you saying? He'd sneer. Who do you think is making the money for this family? Yes, it's true that you're providing for us. I'm working part-time, I would acknowledge. But despite that, you speak to me like this. You shut up. Your earnings are just peanuts. You can't survive without me, so don't you dare undermine me. His cruelty extended to his own mother. And you, he would shout, his voice escalating. You can't even contribute properly to the living expenses. The only reason we can live in this house is undoubtedly thanks to your mother. At first, I fought back, defending myself, defending Linda. But my husband would immediately resort to the ugliest threat he knew, divorce. Watch yourself, Sarah. He'd snarl. Keep this up, and we'll get a divorce. Got it? Please, not so loud. Your mother is in the other room. Shut it. It's all because you're so insolent. Understand this. You'll be the one in trouble if we divorce. Do you get that? Just lower your voice and don't always talk about divorce like that. Yeah, right? You would have nowhere to go if we got divorced. Stop talking like that. Just shut up and listen to what I'm saying. You're so slow, honestly. I was more than ready to divorce my husband. But what I thought of my mother-in-law, I couldn't bring myself to go through with it. You can always talk to me if you're troubled, Sarah. You're my precious daughter. My mother-in-law would reassure me. She was always very kind to me as if we were truly mother and daughter. Because of her, I wanted to take care of her properly until the end. I want to repay her for all the kindness she has shown me. That's why I endured the painful days with my husband in this house. I couldn't trust my mother-in-law's care to a man like him. Then one day, as I was preparing dinner, I heard the usual shouting from the entrance. "Hey Sarah, I'm home. Come out and greet me. I'm using the stove right now and can't leave it." What are you kidding me? What kind of wife doesn't prioritize her husband? My husband, who had lost his patience, stormed into the living room. "Hey, what are you thinking? I always tell you to greet me when I come home. Why don't you understand? As you can see, I was just frying something. I don't care. You should have time to be finished when I come home. You're useless. Well, you never tell me when you'll be home. I told you not to talk back. Are you useless and insolent wife is nothing but garbage." My mother-in-law, who will come out upon hearing the harsh words, spoke in a stern voice. "John, that is no way to talk, is it? No, Mom, you're still alive. Sarah is working hard every day for this household for both of you and me. That's what her wife is supposed to do, right? She's basically social trash. Enough is enough." My usually quiet mother-in-law raised her voice on the spot. "You wouldn't say what you want about me, don't you, dear slander Sarah? What, Mom? Are you on Sarah's side?" My mother-in-law, who usually remained silent, continued to speak this time. "John, one request. What is it? Just put me in a nursing home. I don't want to be a burden on Sarah anymore." "A nursing home? What do you think we have that kind of money? We still have your father's inheritance in my pension. I don't need a fancy place." At my mother-in-law's unexpected remark, I was at a loss for words. "Mother-in-law, have you been considering this? Thinking about me?" Tears well up in my eyes at the thought of her kindness. "Don't joke around. There's no way we're putting you in a nursing home. That's a waste of money. Please don't say that life would be easier in this house if I wasn't here. If we put you in a facility, the neighbors and my colleagues will start gossiping that I'm an ungrateful son. You don't need to worry about what people think. I still want to be a burden to you." "Then shut up and do as you're told. Old woman, I'm taking care of you. Isn't that enough?" "John, you don't do anything. I'll let you live in this house and I make Sarah work too. Isn't that enough for you, ungrateful woman?" "Are you talking about who's the ungrateful one here? This house originally belonged to your mother, didn't it? Are you talking back to me again? But that's true, isn't it? When you were fired, we were in trouble. How can you say that?" "Shut up, both of you, and I'm not doing this reluctantly. I'm taking care of mother-in-law out of my own will. Stop making unilateral decisions." Despite my desperate plea, my husband just said that's true troubles and left the room. In the awkward silence, my mother-in-law kept apologizing and crying. "It's not your fault, mother-in-law. The one at fault is John." Every day I was frustrated by a reality that I could not control. A few days later, while I was cleaning the house, a man who claimed to be an acquaintance of my mother-in-law's came to visit. Mother-in-law looked surprised, but she wore a full smile. "Is that you, Jackson? You came to visit? I remember treating you a lot of work when we were younger, right?" Yes, I'm grateful. "So what's your will? Why did you call me today?" Yes, actually." Looking at me, mother-in-law said, "Sorry. Could you step up for a bit?" Assuming they had a lot to catch up on, shot and went out to buy some sweets. This man Jackson apparently was a junior and mother-in-law was working it. Had been a while since I saw mother-in-law looking so happy. When I thought it was time to come back, Jackson was just about to leave, but "Oh, excuse me, I'm about to make tea." "No, that's fine, we finished our conversation. But thank you for always taking care of Linda." Reassuring to know that she has a daughter like you, he bowed his head to me and left. Since then, Jackson has been regularly visiting. It was a few months later that my mother-in-law's condition worsened and she had to be rushed to the hospital. When I urgently called my husband, he responded with disbelief. "My mom's in danger." As if I care. "You're there, you can handle it." But the doctor said her condition's unpredictable. "Please, I need you." "No way. Plus, I'm leaving for a business trip today." "What now? Are you stupid? There's no way I can do that. Handle it on your own and don't call me until I reach out first." He hung up abruptly. Not knowing what to do, I slumped down in front of my mother-in-law's hospital room. He's going on a business trip while his mother is in this state. This is just too cruel. How am I supposed to tell my mother-in-law? Just as I was sinking into despair. "Oh, Sarah, what's wrong?" "Jackson, something happened, right? Let's go to your mother-in-law's room for now." When we entered the room, my mother-in-law looked at us and struggled to speak. "Jackson, you're here. Does that mean you did what I asked?" "Yeah." "Are you sure about this?" "Of course, I have to clear things up before I go, don't I?" "I understand then." My mother-in-law weakly took my hand. "Sarah, there's something I want you to know." "What is?" "My son has been withdrawing money from my account for his pension and spending it on his mistress. An affair." "Well, he's a man who treated me like a maid. I had some idea from the start." I asked Jackson to investigate the matter. "Jackson, please record what I'm about to say. It will be my last will." "Understood, Linda." Jackson slowly took out a voice recorder. Once he finished recording everything, "How you use this recording is up to you. Sarah, talk to me." "Yes, I'm the only one who can avenge my mother-in-law." I squeezed her frail hand back with strength. The next day, my mother-in-law passed away, leaving her final revenge in my hands on the day of the funeral. 2 days later, my mother-in-law drew a large crowd. My husband made an inappropriate comment. "I didn't expect so many people to come. It's a great opportunity to show off my skills as Chief Warner." "What are you talking about? You weren't even there when she died." Ignoring my reproach, he continued casually, I'll make everyone cry with my touching eulogy. My bosses from work are here to just kidding. How can you act like this when your mother just passed away? Just think about it, man, I'm so lucky. Ignoring my trembling rage after the formality. Then with tears in his eyes, he said, I have devoted myself to caring for my mother for 5 years, but in vain. But I have no regrets. I am proud that I could support my mother until the end. At my husband's eulogue, with a touch of drama as if he had always been a dutiful son, the attendees oblivious listened to the story with tears in their eyes. Thank you all for today, he concluded. With his closing words as the room began to stir, I stood before my husband and took out a voice recorder. What are you doing? Ignoring my husband's restraint, I raised my voice to the attendees. Ladies and gentlemen, finally please listen to this recording. As I pressed the play button, my mother-in-law's voice flowed from the voice recorder. Her voice at that time was recorded in the hospital. Thank you all for attending today. There's something I absolutely want you to hear, so I've left this voice message. My husband and even the attendees were stunned by the unexpected turn of events. I believe you've just heard my son's speech. The recording continued in my mother-in-law's voice, who knew my boastful husband well. She had a good grasp of his likely behavior as a parent. I increased the volume of the voice recorder so that everyone could hear. However, my son did not care for me. He just kept shouting at me and my daughter-in-law. Of course, as my husband's face turned red, he shouted, "What is this? Stop this." Ignoring him, I continued to play the recording. I'm giving it to another woman, not Sarah. One day I noticed something odd about my son and had an old friend look into it, and this fact came to light. The attendees were all filled with anger while my husband turned pale. Finally, my mother-in-law delivered a final blow to my husband from heaven. I have a request for everyone. Please do not give my inheritance to my son. You could donate it, destroy, whatever. Anyway, I will not forgive my son. I need your help. With those words, the voice ceased. My husband was in a panic, but no one was there to help him. On the contrary, all of the attendees were giving him cold stares. Looking down at my husband, I said, "Colby, do you understand? This is the result of what you've been doing. You abandoned the care of your mother and were having an affair. You've learned a lot from this, haven't you?" "Wait, Sarah, I was wrong. Are you?" "Let me tell you, I will never forgive you. There's no one who's going to help you." In the midst of the attendees' cold stares, my husband collapsed onto the ground and pale. After that, I divorced my husband. There was no reason for me to be with him now that my mother-in-law had passed away. I later heard that he had been fired from his job. His boss had been at the funeral, so it was a predictable outcome. I demanded alimony from my ex-husband for his mistress. Apparently, his mistress was furious about this and probably dumped him a few months later. My ex-husband was able to find a new job through Jackson's introduction. But that was also part of my mother-in-law's plan. My ex-husband was working at a company known to Jackson, and from his salary, he was paying me alimony. Meanwhile, Jackson, who was worried about me, even introduced me to a full-time job. All of this was apparently in my mother-in-law's will. I can't thank my mother-in-law enough for everything she's done for me. I said a prayer in front of my mother-in-law's grave and thanked her in my heart. "Thank you so much, mother-in-law." I swore to myself that I would cherish this life I was given thanks to my mother-in-law. Closing, looking back, I still wrestle with the weight of that decision. Was exposing John at his own mother's funeral the right thing to do? Should I have waited? Should I have handled it all differently? It felt like the only way to honor Linda's wishes, to avenge her pain, and to finally break free from the shackles of that toxic marriage. But now, with some distance, I find myself wondering if there was a kinder, less explosive way. Knowing everything you've heard, what do you think? Did I do the right thing, or did I allow my anger to cloud my judgment? I'm genuinely interested in hearing your perspectives, your insights, your honest assessments of the situation. Share your thoughts or opinions, your advice. I need to know if, in the end, I truly honored my mother-in-law's memory and did what was right.